during the Ice Age, water levels were approximately 130 metres lower than what they are today. So our coastlines were a lot more further out. And there was obviously that land bridge from southern Victoria through Tyree-Reacher, or the Furneaux Islands, and then obviously connecting it to WUKALINA or Clark Island, Chiwana, and Lumaranatana, or also known as Cape Portland, the most northeastern tip of Lutruwita. And obviously our ancestors moved between mainland Australia and Lutruwita, Tasmania, using this land bridge or causeway. Our people lived right across the island, and obviously including western Lutruwita and cave sites underneath obviously them ice caps that covered much of central Australia. Important cave sites such as Kurikana Cave on the Franklin River have obviously given us much of our archaeological knowledge and stuff which we have today. Petrified stumps can also be found all through the sea floor throughout Tyree-Reacher and the Bass Strait Islands. These beautiful hills that we can see now, they were once them big mountain ranges across that flat plain that obviously covered most of Lutruwita today. Obviously, Tasmania's vegetation is obviously a lot more different, and obviously the east coast back in traditional times being a lot more, I guess, very dry and windy and less hospitable and beautiful like it is today. Luckily on a clear day like we can see today, we can see the beautiful Tyree-Reacher, the Furneaux Islands. And obviously it reminds us of them ancient links that we yarned to you this morning about them fires obviously being put in place here. So if we look out around to down the coastline down there, through that haze, throughout the water there, throughout traditional times, you can imagine what it would be like to see them first big sealing ships and them big sailboats coming through that coastline. And there was recordings of this Timputana, also known as Kunzia, actually being stripped back bare, and that's what they would actually use as them signifiers. So if you could imagine, but to Aboriginal people, this is very sick. This is very sick country that is actually crying out for help. As we can see, all of this leaf litter that's obviously on the bottom here, if we obviously dig a little bit, keep on going, even to that bottom bit, that's still that can still burn, because there's still obviously, leaves and sticks and everything that have obviously broken down into that soil because of how long it obviously hasn't been continually burnt. So, when community are able to come in here and, I guess, burn whenever we can, it'll be a lot of removal and, I guess, taking out of them bigger trees and things. And even when we are to put through that first fire, it will be very, very hot due to, obviously, that fuel load that we pass on the bottom of this ground here. So it would take a very, very long time to get it back to the way that it is. And even within National Park as well, a lot of the time people think that because, something's being cut off into a national park, that it's really healthy and it's really happy and it's growing really well. But for Aboriginal people, it's the complete opposite. Because not being managed, it's being completely cut off, aren't able to get in there and harvest, for example, the Timputana, the Kunzia, for the clapsticks and the waddies and stuff like that. So just by not being able to go in and access an area doesn't mean that it's healthy and doesn't mean that it's benefiting that country whatsoever. It's more doing the opposite to it. So especially within WUKALINA and heaps of national parks around Tasmania and Australia that unfortunately don't have that dual management within Aboriginal community, it is very sick and is very unhealthy country. So, it's now hard to kind of unsee that as well, now that when you go in, unfortunately, to these national parks or these beautiful places that have been cut off, it's not for the right reason. To the disconnection within, obviously, the continuation of culture. They think that, you know, because we were removed from our country for a period of time, that it doesn't obviously apply to us down here because we were removed and taken away to a different part. So there's that disconnection from country that they see. Yeah.
We're about 5 years old. I think my uncle was 8. He was a bit older.
6 or 7 seasons.
Yeah.
Wow.
Down here, yeah. It's amazing.
And it never stays the same.
No, it changes, like down south. And,
Wow.
all the climate. Especially with the water, how the water is in the land bridge.
Wow.
Yeah. And the ice age.
And is that still in place? Like, is that still happening these days? That is 6 to 7 seasons.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You can never tell when the weather's going to change.
Yeah.
Or plants are going to tell you some indications. You know, you can go hunting or
Yeah. You look into the clouds.
yeah, and they tell you heaps as well, and indications of the ground and the mucka, the liner.
Yeah.
The sea. That
Yeah,
as well, that tells you
yeah.
ebbs and stuff.
Wow,
All
that's
the
so
time.
powerful, hey?
Yeah.
You can just be in tune with the land and you can just listen and understand and read.
Yeah, and know when it's right to go fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had no timers back then.
Yeah, no.
It's like, oh, we'll wake up, yep, we'll go do this. And bedtime was never. So, yeah.
Amazing for stomach cramps and pains and that as well. So especially, you know, when the women and that are on that time of the month, really, really good for that, for our pains and stuff. So if you have a little bit of upset stomach, maybe eating something wrong or something like that, yeah, the Banksia is really good for that.